scoring just about 97 points a game, and they lead the NCAA in terms of offensive rating. Tip is controlled by UC Davis, and we're underway at Maples Pavilion. Tara Vanderveer courts.
And that was a nice opening set out of the tip ball. That was a set that they work on and work to perfection.
Sable off balance three is off. The offensive rebound for Norris. Her shot's off.
And those are opportunities that the Aggies will have to complete tonight. And you have those point-blank shots you got to make, especially around the basket.
It's the normal Stanford starting five, the same starting five for each of their 4 contests now. Cardinal lose it out of play.
So this will be probably the tallest person that Agara has to go up against in these first 3 games out. Vertical spacers down low. She's not going to be able to just go right up. She's going to have to use some footwork as well, Tim, to get an opportunity to score baskets in the painted area.
These 2 teams run the same exact system. In fact, the UC Davis head coach, Jennifer Gross, she taught Tara Vanderveer and Kate Pay this system. Coach Gross came down to Maples a few times in the 2017 summer, and since that point, Stanford has run this Princeton-style offense that you'll see UC Davis run as well.
And guess what? She taught me as well when I was coaching, so I'm really familiar with this offense as well. First turnover of the game for the UC Davis, but again, it's like 2 mirror images playing against one another. It's in this situation here, Tim, is which team can execute it best in the half-court set.
And Jennifer Gross said the 2021 Bubble National Championship for Stanford, UC Davis lost in the first round in that NCAA tournament. Stanford won it all, and she thought when Stanford won it all, she felt like she had a piece of it and was real excited for Tara Vanderveer running their offense. Harriel into contact. Still no score more than a minute in.
Second chance opportunities are going to be huge. You can see they get right back into the set again. This is the split action to Boscana, who we highlighted at the top of the telecast.
Ball is deflected out of play by Megan Norris. Grew up coming to Maples Pavilion. She's from Menlo Park, Sacred Heart Prep, and she came to a lot of volleyball matches at Maples Pavilion.
Tim, this may be the most compelling matchup Stanford has had early in the season.
LaPolo, nice fake, and gets the roll.
And that's huge for LaPolo. She was able to get downhill, fake the pass, was able to finish. And you get her untracked early. She hasn't been able to score as much as they would like to see her score this season.
Atalanta hasn't played much this year. 11 minutes, 14 minutes, 18 minutes in the first 3 games.
And who's been huge is Clarity coming off the bench. She's made her impact known.
Stanford going 9 and 10 deep. Harriel, 3 on the way, is off. Agara with the rebound.
Another opportunity, second chance opportunities. That's the second time they've had it on consecutive possessions.
And that was one of the keys for both coaches, actually. Talking to both coaches, rebounding they thought would be big tonight. Dimitri, long 2-pointer, rattles in.
And that's huge, but Dimitri was able to knock that down in the split actions right at the mid-post area. Agara was playing outside that time. Yeah.
Norris, the stretch 5. No good. Boscana with the board.
So far, Aggies have not been able to get on track, get on the board. Stanford with an early 4-0 lead. They get right back into the offense again, right into their split action.
LaPolo to Dimitri out of the screen, and the second bucket for Brooks.
That's great action, great woman movement as well. I like to see LaPolo when she came off the screen roll early, take that mid-post jump shot, picked up her dribble. Dimitri kept going at the back door. Nice job, nice find by Burns.
Tova Sable, 22 points a game. All Big West last year, and she is the go-to player for UC Davis. They lost their leading scorer, Evan Turner, who was a 3-time All-Leaguer in the Big West. And like a lot of other teams in the NCAA, they're looking to replace her with a bunch of different players.
You had a chance to watch Turner play for a couple of years. She was outstanding, a scorer, a guard, but she can play big as well.
Speaking of playing big, Agara using her strength to get around Norris.
So Agara was able to get to her strong hand, a couple of crab dribbles inside, go right back over her right shoulder, use the glass for the finish.
Stanford's made their last 3 shots. Up by 6. Here's the point guard, Burns, down the center. Loses it out of place. Sydney Burns, 5'9". And he's called the ultimate competitor by her coaches. Speaking about competitors, Mary Ashley Stevenson has made a huge impact. The transfer from Purdue has been a wrecking ball off the bench.
And she also comes in, shares the basketball as well. She's tied with the team with 8 assists.
Nice take by Nia Epps.
Yeah, Epps was able to get downhill. It's a long layup, Tim. Kind of floated it over like George Gervin-like.
The Iceman. Chloe Clardy. Talk about players. Stanford lost some of their best players from last year. Chloe made 2 threes all of last year. Opening night she makes 3, and so far this year, she's 7 for 10 from deep.
Yeah, she's playing with a lot of confidence, but as we mentioned earlier, we highlighted the team itself shooting 57%. But we forgot to mention Tess Hill. She's 4 for 5.
Turned over by the Cardinal. Sable gets bumped into by Dimitri. And Stanford might have got away with one there.
Yeah, I'm sure Sable was looking for that foul. And so was Coach Gross as well, kind of confused on why that was not called a foul.
And there is an offensive foul against the Cardinal. Stanford leading 8-4 early. Number 24 Cardinal looking to get to 4-0.
It's important now that UC Davis try to get a score and they just get one just like that, come out of a timeout. I always talk about, Tim, the ATOs. What does a coach draw up? So they went right to their bread and butter. They're able to get down here. As you can see here, she gets downhill, takes the contact, and she's able to finish. That's Bennett, the first bucket.
Now, Ryan Bennett is a point guard. She'll play a lot at point guard this year. UC Davis as their 4-year starter. Sydney Burns at point guard, who will graduate this year. I'm talking about Sunday, Stanford hammered Gonzaga. 89-58 was the final. Stanford led 26-4 after 1 quarter. Sable trying to break down Ogden, who just took it away from her, and that's an offensive foul.
And that's great defense by Ogden. She was able to move her feet. Was able to head her off. You can see here, moves her feet well and just breaks down the basketball. That shows the strength, the opportunity to get a turnover as well.
And Courtney Ogden, number 10 overall recruit. Stanford did sign their recruiting class. It is highly ranked. Today was National Signing Day for all the different sports here at Stanford, including women's basketball. Agara attacks the rack with contact. No good.
They're showing Agara showing her tools in the toolbox, going left or right. With her offhand, almost had the opportunity to finish.
As Sable, as soon as that shot went up, put her hand up to the bench and said, I know, I know.
Yeah, she needs to get activated. You mentioned averaging 22 points a game. You're gonna need a big game out of her tonight.
And the last game for UC Davis, they went to overtime, and Sable played over 40 minutes against San Diego State. As Chloe Clardy's gonna get to the free throw line. UC Davis, they won their opening game against NAIA Simpson, and then they lost in overtime to San Diego State in Davis, their 2nd game of the year.
Yeah, Clardy did a great job of rejecting the screen by Stevenson, went baseline, lifted over the top and got fouled, has an opportunity for 2 free throws.
Stanford is shooting it great from everywhere, 81% at the free throw line. Chloe, mentioned 2 of 19 from 3 last year. She's 7 of 10 so far this year. And her dad is a basketball coach, and she spent all summer in Arkansas tweaking her mechanics, making her mechanics much simpler. It has really helped her out shooting it.
Yeah, you can tell it's paid off in dividends.
Stanford has led the entire game. No lead so far for UC Davis. Pressure there on Allie Fitzgerald, the Colorado transfer. More ball pressure from the Cardinal. Burns turns around. Didn't know she was wide open and knocks down a 7-footer.
Yeah, absolutely. Turned around, Didn't know she was that wide open. Tim said, you know what, let me just knock down this 5-footer.
Into Stevenson, who lost it between her legs. Burns knocks into heel. Bank shot too strong. Neither team has gotten into a groove. Both teams well under 50% shooting. Burns forcing a jump ball, and the arrow gives it to UC Davis.
Yeah, they decided they're going to trap on the bounce at Stevenson when she got it inside. Right here, you see on the bounce, they're going right now. You see there she go right there. There's this trap on the bounce for the tie-up. Now, you know, I want to go back to, speaking of Clardy, she made the biggest jump. I always say, Tim, your biggest jump is typically in the summer from your freshman to your sophomore year, because now you're coming in, you understand the flow, you understand how to play college basketball, the travel, the academics. That's where you see your biggest growth. Then years, your junior, senior year, is more incremental growth.
Stanford has seen that with Nunu Agara going from 5 points to 17 points a game. Chloe Clardy right there going from 2 points to 13 points a game.
Yeah, because what happens is you come in as a freshman, you think you know, right? But you're playing against grown women in most cases. So you have to get used to the speed of the game, the physicality of the game as well, but most of the travel, the academics. Once you understand that, now the second year you have a blueprint for success, and you're starting to see it well, as you mentioned, with Clardy and Agara.
Fitzgerald called for the foul. 4 points a game for Allie Fitzgerald. Played 7 games for Colorado 2 years ago, then transferred to Davis. Clardy with a lot of contact for Fitzgerald. Agara, the second effort.
Yeah, that's a great job off the quick hit, a little hand back to Clardy to get downhill. Ogden gave it right to her. She was able to get to her spot.
4 second chance points for Stanford. That was one thing the UC Davis staff told me is they cannot afford to give up second chance points.
They have to be 1 and out because of the size and length of the Cardinal. They have the ability to get extra shots. You can see here. Here's the hand back right here. Get down here. She received the screen. The follow right here by Agara was able to get the finish. It all started with the hand back from Ogden.
Fitzgerald against Dimitri. Up top, Harris, long 3, in and out.
So far, they're 0 for 5 from behind the arc. They're going to have to do a better job of extending the defense. If not, Stanford can pack it in and use their length inside their vertical spaces.
Good defense there from Harris on the other end. Burns leaves it to a wide open Harris. Corner 3 on the way. Good.
And they needed that in a big way. Transition, early offense, advanced pass to the left corner, was able to knock it down.
That's it, Lon Harris. 107th game for UC Davis. Aggies trying to get back to the NCAA tournament. They've been there 3 times. The last time was in the bubble in San Antonio. Agara, weak side board, and the bank shot's in.
And that's what she's going to do. She's going to clean up around the glass, as she's seen there. Agara was able to grab it, finish on the other side.
Consistent so far from Nunu. 18, 18, and 16 points in the 3 games for Stanford.
Yeah, she's been outstanding. She's been the focal point, although you can see the 3-point shots are going down, but it's all about Agara's ability. She commands a lot of attention when she gets the basketball.
Ariel. Believe it or not, Stanford has not hit a 3 yet. They came into this game leading the NCAA in 3s made per game, as well as 3-point percentage. Ariel shaking, baking, extra pass. Ogden, 3, got it!
Nice job by Harrell with the shot lift. Was able to get inside with the skip out, the non-selfish pass. All teammates are involved in that play.
And there's the first 3 of the game. Stanford's averaging 15 of them. Their school record was 16 before opening night. Harris, the prayer is off, and top 20 recruit, so that ESPN ranking may go up.
Here's the set play again coming out of ATO. You see the attention that goes to Agara. Outside shot. Clarity just off, but nice job, nice execution, nice action coming out of the timeout.
Yeah, Clardy 0 for 1 from deep. Stanford as a team 1 for 4. It's been mostly the 2-point attack. Sable way off balance on that 3.
And they're going to need Sable to start to percolate, because they're going to need her points. You mentioned averaging 22 points per game.
It's 2 points on 1 of 6 so far, but that's what Stanford does. They identify the other team's best player, and they try to game plan to stop her.
Make someone else beat you. Exactly.
Wide open. Clardy, 3, in and out. And Helena keeps it alive. Threw it off of the foot of Norris, who has a lot of friends and family here. From Menlo Park, Sacred Heart Prep High School, just a little bit south of Maples.
This is a heads-up play here, understanding that they can get an extra possession as well. Threw it right off the foot. Now they have a chance here. 20 seconds left on the shot clock to get something going to the rim. They have plenty of time to run their offense here, so they don't have to hurry.
Ascana out of the curl. Looking for some help. And that was deflected off of the referee. It was going to go out of play.
Yeah, that was some miscommunication, and the referee was standing in the way as well. She is part of the action.
Teresa Stuck got hit there. Esther Shu, Ed Silasky, the 3-person crew. One of the great changes here in the NCAA is there's a microphone for the referees to instruct us, just like the NBA, just like they do in college football, of any review. So the referee can explain to the fans at home if you're watching, as well as the people inside the arena. Davis keeps it on the jump ball.
It's a nice job by Stanford recognizing they're running their split action. So they understand, they see it in practice as well. They know exactly where the opportunities are at, where you can trap at, the blind spots on the floor.
Nia Epps, lefty shots in and out. And she fouls Boscana. Nia Epps, she played with Talana Lopolo in high school, played for the Cal Stars AAU team with Talana and Janiyah Harriel. And when I spoke with Jennifer Gross this week, she made a point to say Nia is playing great basketball, 14 points a game. Last year she was at 3.
And in the crowd is their coach, Kelly Sopak, sitting under the basket as well in the red. He has some pretty good players in his day.
Cameron Brink, Haley Jones amongst the Cal Stars alumni. Nunu, 3, in and out. It seemed like everything was going for Stanford. They're 1 for 6, and all 5 misses have gone halfway down.
Yeah, they're getting good looks. It's not, the rim is not being kind to them this evening. It's the basketball guys are catching up with them. We'll see. We still have a couple more halves, a couple more quarters to go.
You might see one of the Stanford players or coaches go up there and loosen the rims a little bit. I was joking about that. I think they're not allowed in the middle of the game. Here's Tess Heel, Courtney Ogden, and Talana Lopolo rechecking in for the Cardinal.
With the 1-3 made, this is by Ogden, so she'll check back in.
And that opening night against Lemoyne, a program record 18-3. Stanford didn't make a 2 until late in the second quarter. Burns, 3, good.
And that was excellent ball movement. The trap came down in the post area, and they swung it around a couple of times. They got a wide open room service shot by Burns, rather. She was a step right in and knocked it down.
Stanford hasn't scored in the quarter yet. Agara's off. Norris gets the board. Norris for the tie. No good.
Anytime you can have your flex 4, stretch 5, flex 4, the basketball opens it up as well.
Now Courtney Ogden with 5. Number 10 overall recruit, was the highest rated player in last year's recruiting class for the Cardinal. And she was kind of hurt a lot of the year.
I had a chance to talk to Ogden before the game, and I was telling her how well she's playing, but again, it's that second season, getting opportunities, getting more comfortable in the offense.
Burns, her 3rd appearance against the Cardinal. Stanford playing UC Davis last year and then 3 years ago. It looked like she changed the pivot foot a couple of times, and Sable can't buy a bucket. She's 1 for 7.
Yeah, definitely, they're going to have her to get untracked, because, again, we mentioned at the top of the telecast, she is leading the team in scoring.
Ogden asking for the ball, and just off on that 3.
See right there, you see the double team, extra pass, wide open shot for Burns to knock it down. Right here, Ogden goes right inside, used the scissor dribble, came right back out, lined it up, knocked it down.
Now, I wasn't a collegiate head coach like you, Joaquin, but if someone's doubled, that means someone's open.
Sometimes that's what you think.
Traveling, they call it this time against Sable.
So the trap came from Agara. There's trapping on the bounce. So that's the goal here. On the bounce, there it is. There's a trap. Agara did a great job of slapping down. So they call it travel first, but they may have been able to get a foul on her as well because she turned hard into Lapolo. They call it the travel prior.
You see 7 turnovers against Stanford. They came into this game leading the NCAA. 3 assists to turnover ratio of 3. And so far, the assist to turnover ratio is 2-7, as there's turnover number 8 against Heel.
Yeah, they came into the game averaging 10 turnovers a game. So right now, to get on track.
Now, this quarter hasn't been pretty for either team. UC Davis 1 of 6, Stanford 1 of 6. Cardinal have turned it over 3 times thus far as well.
That's to be expected because you have 2 teams. Again, they run the same offense. So it's like kind of watching themselves. It's like a scrimmage that counts.
Heel was fouled as she tried to turn around by Victoria Baker, a UC Irvine transfer. She's an anteater, and UC Davis lost in the Big West Championship game last year to UC Irvine. At one point, Davis won 5 straight Big West regular season championships. Jennifer Gross has had things going for a while up in the Capitol Corridor. She was a player for UC Davis, an assistant, and now the head coach. Heel, foot on the line jumper, short, Mascana, offensive rebound. She looked like she got fouled as she went up by Burns. A lot of contact.
So what you see, the officials are allowing them to play, which is consistent. That's all you can ask for.
We've only had 3 total free throws in this game.
So it allows the game to continue to move.
That one they couldn't let go.
Yeah, that was an obvious foul.
Slana Lapolo called for her second team foul.
Coach Simpson said, what do you think about the Princeton offense? She said, yeah, I think it's great. You know what he said to her? Second year, install it. At that point, and she's been doing it ever since. But, you know, go back to that 2011 team. I happened to play that team, and they were really, really good. And they dropped 110 on us on the Princeton set. And during the season, I switched my offense to the Princeton series. They had like 8 freshmen, and I've been running ever since.
Heel steps in and out. Foul will keep it here. Neither team scoring it well in the second. Stanford had just 2 points in the quarter, 4 for UC Davis after Baker split those free throws. Stanford 8 for 24 from the field.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual, but again, you're talking about 2 teams that are familiar with one another because they know the cuts, they know the reads. So it's like which team can execute the best in the half-court set, and both teams aren't shooting the ball from behind the arc because the point of emphasis, we mentioned earlier, 47% of Stanford scoring comes from behind the arc.
Ariel, the pick and roll with Agara. Hot potato, Mascana knocks it down.
So Mascana was able to line it up. Shot clock was drifting down, but she was able to knock it down.
And snaps a 2.5-minute scoring drought. Stanford still just 5 points in this quarter. Cardinal came in at 97 a game. Turnaround from Gladsoff.
UC Davis has had ample opportunities down close to the rim that they have not been able to convert. That's another one of those turnovers, an offensive foul. And Stevens is trying to set up. You can see here, Harrell gets inside. Mascana says, no, I'm open. Shot clock going down, knock it down.
And it's been scientifically proven. Left-handed shooters, it just looks better. Left-handed shooter, left-handed baseball swing. I don't know why.
I agree, 110%.
Bennett brings it up. Freshman from Long Beach. Morris Turn around, hook shots, good.
And they have opportunities, I'm speaking of the Aggies, to get it down low. I love the crab dribble, jump hook over the left shoulder.
Seas parted into the corner. Agara's three, rims out.
So I'm Coach Jennifer Gross. I'm excited because we're right in the game, although it's a kind of disjointed effort on both sides, but I'm only down by 5. And Stanford, again, they've been putting up big points in the first 3 games. They've pretty much held them in check.
And Stanford, I mentioned the raw number, 97 points a game. That's 15th in the NCAA. In terms of offensive rating, it's 136 coming into today. That was 9 points better per 100 possessions than any other team in the country.
So Bennett with the step through. They ran a little zipper action on the baseline out of bounds play.
Second personal, number 34, Jess Hill.
So there's the block you talked about. There's a step through. There's the reach. There's the foul. Hill thought that she didn't get the foul. She bodied, but her arm came down as well.
Ryan Bennett at the line, shooting 2.
2 here for Ryan Bennett. Mentioned she's the heir apparent to run the point guard position, and you've taught this offense. What are the point guard's responsibilities in the Princeton sets?
Well, typically it's ran from the point forward, but you have to, you can run it from the guard position as well, and that's something you have. Those are particular sets that you can run, but the offense really is geared to the point forward, right at the mid-post area.
Nunu Agara, kind of the tailor-made player. When Stanford installed this 17-18, it was a year before Haley Jones joined the Cardinal, as Pascana banks it in.
Pascana starting to percolate. You have to honor her because her ability to shoot the ball from behind the arc. She was able to put it on the deck, get inside, and finish.
And Stanford installed this offense. That one's banked out. Tara Vanderveer was telling me it was based off of the upcoming recruits like a Haley Jones, a Lexi Hall, Cameron Brink, bigs that can move the ball well. Tara Vanderveer was known as the czar of the triangle, but she switched from that triangle to Princeton offense, learning it from UC Davis's staff back in 2017. And
that shows her adaptability as well. Nice job of Harriet to get inside, took the screen, took the mid-range shot right at the pinch post area. Do not shoot. If you're not making it from 3, get inside the arc. Maybe you have some luck there.
Harriel has made so many strides at Stanford. She redshirted her freshman year. Double team. Cardi just steals it away.
So again, they came from the double team from the weak side, so they're coming off the player that's no threat to shoot the 3 ball. You see the crowd does not like it, but they're allowing them to play.
Nunu just explodes to the rim and just blew by Norris.
So right at that pinch post area again. So you see she gets downhill. You have to honor her from distance. So you get inside, use the right hand. But here it is. I love to go right to that spot. The mid-range jumper was able to knock it down.
And Nunu Agara, last year about 13 minutes a game. So far this year, about 30 minutes. He leads Stanford in points, rebounds, assists, blocks.
So Stanford here, if they can end the quarter well and improve their lead, with 1:25 remaining, you're looking at possibly 2 more possessions.
Timeout by UC Davis.
30-second timeout called by the Aggies.
We'll keep it here. This 30-second timeout, 28-18, the Cardinal lead. Stanford just 38% from the field, but UC Davis 28%. And as you mentioned, the familiarity between these two teams has made it very difficult offensively.
Yeah, it's disjointed. Again, it's like you're playing against one another, so each team knows exactly the cuts, the reads. They may have some different actions they're running off of it, but the importance of this timeout, Coach Jennifer Gross and her team, they understand that this is what we need to do. We take a look at Nunu Agara this year, 5.5 points per game. This season, 17.3. But again, we talked about her growth in her second season. You've seen it the first year, kind of get an understanding. She's played in 36 games last year. Didn't start any. Now she's 3 for 3, and she's leading the team in scoring.
And leading them tonight with 8 points and 6 rebounds in 18 minutes. She has not come off the floor. Sable traveled. And that's not the first time they called her for 3 of them. And probably they could have called her for a couple more. She's 1 for 7 for 2 points. Stanford has taken her out of the game thus far. And if Davis wants to win, they got to get her going.
Absolutely, and they're putting a lot of length on her as well, so she's not able to have her way. They try to set her up the pinch post because you can't trap in that area, but she was not able to convert. As you mentioned, she traveled.
Extra pass. Nunu went up and was fouled.
So Dimitri did a great job. She came to a jump stop. She came to a point where she could not convert, came to a jump stop. Agara seeing her teammate. You can see here, jump stop. Agara goes to the open space, and there's the foul on the floor.
I mentioned some of the bigs that Stanford's had that can really pass it. Brooke Dimitri, the coaches for years have raved about her passing at 6'3", kind of playing center. And I say kind of playing center because other than Kennedy Ume, who's a freshman, this Stanford team, Coach Wallace, they don't have a true center.
And that's what makes them so difficult, because when they're running this Princeton-style offense, you can flip-flop who you want into the pinch post area. It can be Agara, it can be Dimitri, it can be Boscana, it can be Courtney as well. So you can put different people there. You can even put a guard there if you like.
All 5 of these players on the floor for Stanford, as there's a 3 knocked down by Harris. But Stanford, most of the lineups that they run have 5 people that can hit a 3.
And it opens up the floor. Again, you want to make the defensive team guard 47 feet of space, and they're doing a great job by opening it up.
Solana Lapolo hasn't played a ton. She's still kind of getting back up to speed. You see that wrap around her right knee.
So now they're running a horn series or A series with a hand back.
Dimitri, long 3 is off. Didn't hit the rim. Bennett up. 3, Sable, short. And Stanford, they still have Solana Lapolo as a starting point guard. It's her 3rd year starting here at Stanford. Agara all the way to the hoop as the C's part for Nunu.
So again, I love to look at what coaches draw up on the whiteboard. ATOs coming out of half. That was the first play they ran. They ran a little 1-4 Iverson cut across the top. They kind of morphed into Agara going getting downhill, and she was able to finish.
Sable, the leading scorer for Davis there, cutting to the hoop, 1 for 7 shooting. Epps against Harriel, AAU teammates. Burns gets the call and the bucket.
One of the hardest people to guard in basketball is a person that moves without the basketball as well. Great job. There's a double team. Burns was able to get downhill, take the contact, and finish. Kissed it right off the glass. Dimitri got over late. You see there, took it off. Used the English to get it in.
Second on Brooke. Burns, now 4 of 5 at the line this year. She's got 8.
So as I felt coming into the game, Tim, I felt this was going to be a tougher game for Stanford because the familiarity that the 2 teams have, you can see here, is proving out to be that way. That pass by Agara was on point through traffic.
Harriel looking to create. Dimitri through Sable. Well, I think both coaches, the Stanford bench and the UC Davis bench, are both saying foul. There was a lot of contact there. Nothing was called.
Yeah, Coach Jennifer Gross got up and asked the question as well as Sable's trying to pick her teeth off the ground. Why that was not a foul, I don't know.
Stanford just 3 on the shot clock. See Sable, 2 years at Penn State. It's her 3rd year with UC Davis. 26 points, 5 blocks last time out. An overtime loss to San Diego State. Agara gets the shooter's roll.
So that's the play you work on. 2 seconds left. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They got Agara come off her strong hand right over her right shoulder. Nice little jumper. Bounces right in.
Harris from way downtown. Dimitri with the rebound. Stanford plus 16 rebounding it. Oh, nice move. Harriel leaves it off. Nunu finishes.
Harriel did a great job, showed her liquidity with the basketball, was able to find her teammate, dumped it right off to her. Agara gets on track early with 4 points.
And Janiyah Harriel from a redshirt year to 6 minutes a game, 12 minutes a game. This year, 28 minutes a game. Great example for younger players, and You know, one thing that Kate Pay was talking about, everybody wants to come and play. Janiyah didn't really play a lot her first couple years, but she's worked on her skills, and now she's getting a chance to shine.
You see that Hera goes right behind the back, right to left, finds Agara, posted up right inside at the dunker spot, was able to get it and finish.
Dimitri blocked by Sable. Came into this game one of the top blockers in the NCAA. And Epps gives it away. And then Boscana gives it away.
And that's what the coaches kind of pull their hair out in that situation there. Tim, you asked me, when did I go bald? I told you it was my 3rd year of coaching. Turnovers like that, you will lose all of your hair.
I can confirm, Dr. Wallace, no hair. Burns. Oh, man, you don't see guards with those type of moves anymore.
Burns posting up, taking the contact as well, using all parts of the rim. Just like that. He was trying to get back in this game.
Ariel. Oh, what nice moves. Lefty shots no good with some contact. She went down a little awkwardly.
Yeah, Ariel's active with the basketball, getting the spots on the floor, setting up her teammates. Another turnover.
Ariel goes up with a lot of contact, no call.
I like to see Ariel give that ball up earlier as Boscana was running down and should have got right back. That situation there, you work on that every day in practice. You just call those the odd man transitions, 2-on-1s. You got to be able to finish those.
Ariel swats it away. The masked Cardinal.
You see here, there's the block. Made it up on the defensive end. We'll take a seat as well. Stanford trying to get untracked. Davis is giving the basketball, a couple of turnovers. There's another one as well.
Yeah, Stanford has been all up in Sable's business. She's 1 for 7 shooting with 4 turnovers.
The Sable's have not had it.
You know, Coach, we've seen the referees let them play, and it's been consistent. It hasn't favored Stanford, hasn't favored UC Davis. So in a game like this where the referees are allowing them to be physical, how does that adjust things for a coach?
Well, then you know you can just go out and play a little bit more aggressive because they've been consistent, so that's all you can ask for. Usually in the second half, they kind of tighten it up a little bit, but they come out and let them play. That was evident by Sable getting hit in the face and picking up her teeth, and they didn't call a foul.
Norris, nice bounce pass, a little bit too far for Harris, but they'll say she was impeded with by Dimitri, and that'd be her 3rd.
And that's one of those situations there because they know the split action, so she beat her to the spot. She knows where the pass is going. Most teams, that may be a layup. Against Stanford, they recognize, they understand where the pass is going. She beat her to the spot, knocked it out of bounds.
Agara checks back in. She sat for all of 50 seconds in the first half. She sat for all of about 15 seconds here in the second before she came back in. Bennett was fouled on her way up.
So it has to be an obvious foul, Tim. Get it. He beats her off the bounce here. That's an obvious foul. You have to call that in that situation there.
See Chloe Clardy, first Stanford player ever from Arkansas. Dad's a basketball coach, and she spent all summer simplifying her shot, working on her mechanics, getting hundreds of shots up a day.
And that's what it takes. You can see it's paying off for her in her sophomore campaign.
Just like Dr. Wallace was saying, Kate Pay said, between your freshman and sophomore years, that summer is when you normally see the biggest improvement.
Absolutely. Then your junior and senior year, those are incremental growth stages. Now you're working on pieces of the game. You're adding more tools to the toolbox.
Stanford led by as many as 11. It's down to 8. Heel trying to force her way to the line.
That's great help defense. Got on the help line.
Stevenson recognizes, throws it up, didn't hit the rim. Norris has it, and then she was fouled.
I believe they would not have called the foul in the beginning, but Ogden did kind of wrap her around the waist. So if you take a look at it, when you have that replay, you can see her. She literally wrapped her around the waist right here. So there it is. Stevenson goes up right here. And then right here, Ogden, what she does, he wraps her around right there. There's the foul. You have to call that in that situation.
That's the 4th on Stanford. So UC Davis is in the bonus. Burns stripped away by Heel.
So that's the adjustment that they made. They put Burns at the mid-post area, but they believe that her physicality, she can win down low. Hill did a great job of denying her in that situation there.
Clardy. Agara, left free throw line extended, leaves the hand up for good measure.
So that's a great play in itself because they go to the split action, but they go single side with Agara, and what she does on the screen roll, she did a pick and pop, was able to knock it down.
Leads up to double figures for the moment. Not anymore. Megan Norris was the Big West Freshman of the Year. Mom played tennis at UC Davis. Played water polo goalkeeper, was CCS champion for the Gators of Sacred Heart Prep, just about 2 miles away from Stanford. Ogden knocks down a jumper.
So Ogden getting her sweet spot as well. Getting downhill, that mid-post area, sometimes, Tim, you have to just get to the most available shot. I understand analytics, but like I said before, I'd rather have 2 than an empty possession.
Harris, a 3. Got it. That's her 3rd of the game.
Mozzie Harris for 3.
She's been lights out, knocking down the 3 ball.
9 points after she had 7 against the Aztecs of San Diego State. A really frustrating loss for UC Davis. They had the lead late. A couple free throws tied it up and sent it to overtime. Stanford coming off a blowout win against Gonzaga, who was picked to win the WCC. Clardy threw it up. Fouled. She was not fouled. She steals it away from Norris, but then dribbles it off her leg.
That's a great job by Clardy, not quitting on the play, knocking it out of bounds.
7-point lead for Stanford. They're in a tough one with UC Davis and Maples.
Okay. So we're going to do at a timeout. I'm just going to walk that play in. So right out of timeout. So we're
Okay.
Call it inside
You want
the
to take it out of timeout?
Yeah.
Just say Stanford up by 7. They get another timeout. Or get into it.
Then, yeah.
You get in. You can take it back though from break if you want to.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll say Stanford up by 7. Let's get into the play that Agara knocked down the jumper. Okay. So, Tim, Stanford's up by 7 at half, but what I love about, here's the coach in me right here. This is inside the play. So this is what we used to call strong here. Same side, but here's the 2-man game right here. So Claire, she turns the screen down. Agara man goes to help on the help line, and then she stops out right here, pops out, knocks down the little mid-range jumper. I love getting in those plays. They have the strong side and they have the weak side. Nice job by Agara.
17 for Nunu, one short of her career high. She's been pretty consistent this year, 18, 18, and 16 in the 3 games so far. Epps with her second bucket.
So Epps again gets downhill using her left and right hand, little pistol action right out of the timeout.
From Carondelet High School, it's been a good high school for Stanford over the years as Ogden knocks it down on a nice spin move.
So Ogden used her right hand. We talked about that before. I wanted to see her use her right hand. She did it there and was able to get the finish.
Donald Apollo from Carondelet. Jane Appel, one of the all-time greats at Stanford, All-American, was from Carondelet as well, amongst other players Stanford's gotten from there. And that shot is off for Avery Sussex, 5'8" guard from British Columbia.
So you can see here, little hand back, little pistol action right here, right at the pinch post area. She gets downhill, uses her left hand, but this is outstanding. You put her in the spin cycle. Speaking of Ogden, and used her right hand. She's left hand dominant. She said, Coach, I can go to my right hand as well. Let me put her in the spin cycle and finish it.
And that is why you practice your offhand. Sussex has played with the Canadian youth national teams. There's Courtney Ogden. She played about 11 minutes a game. She missed a few games last year because of injury, illness. It was kind of, in some ways, a little bit frustrating freshman year, but she is poised to have a big sophomore season. Cardinal, give it away. Harris, wide open, layups in. She's in a double figures at 11.
And that's one of those turnovers, Tim.
Kate Pay did not like that. Stanford choreographing that. Stanford's lead is down to 3. UC Davis trying to upset 24th ranked Stanford.
Are you going to bring it in?
Yeah, I'll say, hey, here's the 11th turnover for Stanford. They're only leading by 3. Coach, what happened here? Cardinal lead down to 3. Turnovers really hurting Stanford.
Yeah, when you take a look at this play here, she already knew where she wanted to throw the basketball, and nice job by Harris anticipating, wide open live ball turnover. Now Stanford is up by 3, but nice job of reading the pass, knew exactly where it was going to go. She was able to anticipate it, was able to get the live ball turnover and finish.
11 turnovers against the Cardinal. Their previous season high was just 9. Ogden is off. Agara, power. They're going to call an offensive foul.
Yeah, that's weight room for Agara. She was able to get her spot. So Crab dribble right here. You can see the left hand push off. They could have got her earlier with the left hand push out because it extended out. They got it on the bump as well. So actually they had 2 opportunities to call a foul. They missed the first one. They gave her the second one.
Shine, no doubt, sold it as well. And then, well, this is where it's going to be frustrating for Kate Pay and her staff. The referees haven't called a foul against Davis in this quarter. They had let the teams play, and then all of a sudden now there's kind of a touch foul. And the Cardinal give up 2 free throws to Harris.
Well, typically in that situation there, the referees watch the game, and Davis is the most aggressive team coming out of halftime. So they're going to get a lot of those fouls as well. So they can be even more aggressive because, again, as you mentioned, they have no team fouls. So they can play extremely hard, overplay, get up and guard their offensive player with the last two minutes in the quarter.
Stanford's lead is 1. UC Davis has not led at any point in this game. Dimitri, fadeaway jumper, rattles in. Stanford needed that one.
And that was a big-time move by Dimitri. Left-hand dribble, spins off the body, fall-away jump shot.
The all-time series is 17-7, but Stanford's won the last 16 games. The last time UC Davis won, February 7th, 1978, and Harris again brings it to a 1-point game.
So a little up screen they was able to give her at the top, and she was able to finish. Nice pass, lead her right to the basket.
Harris has 15, Burns has 10. The rest of UC Davis has 17. Harriel steps into an open 3.
And they needed that from Harriel. Answer the bell here. Stanford has not shot the ball well from behind the arc. Got the credit to UC Davis guarding the 3-point line.
Sable catch fire for the tie, or pardon me, to cut it to 1.
And that has to feel good for Sable. As mentioned earlier, 22 points per game, leading the team in scoring, 26 last time out.
Shea Ijiwoye, freshman running the point guard position here for the Cardinal. To Dimitri, back to Shea, steps into a 3. Too strong, did not hit the rim. Davids gets the rebound with Epps. From El Cerrito, East Bay native. A lot of Bay Area kids on this Davis team. Harris. Back for Sable, the Swedish international, gets the call.
As I mentioned earlier, Tim, you can see they were very aggressive as Harriel, she takes the screen, steps back, lines it up, knocks it down, and then Sable coming in. Been handcuffed pretty much the entire game, but that had to feel good for her.
And Tova Sable, second team All Big West last year, 13 points a game, started all 34 games. 51st start for Davis after 2 years at Penn State. First is in for Sable. 2 for 8 from the field, 6 points in this game. Last year at Stanford went 4 of 15 from the field. Stanford has done a nice job on her defensively still. Sable gives UC Davis their first lead of the night, 47-46.
They're 6 for 6 in their last field goals. Opportunity here for Stanford to go into the 4th quarter with the lead.
And during that period, 4 for 4 at the free throw line. So Davis has not been missing. 26-point quarter, and the Cardinal now on the floor. Davis, they do have fouls to give. And Jen Gross, it should be smart here with 5.6 seconds left, I think, Coach, to instruct her team to foul.
Yeah, I would instruct my team to foul on the dribble. In this situation here, you still have 4 fouls on the dribble. I would foul here.
Harriel, cross court. Lopolo fakes a 3. Ogden to beat the buzzer. Got it! Stanford retakes the lead, 49-40. Foul. So they had 3 fouls to give, and the Aggies didn't use any of them, and Stanford retakes the lead. UC Davis led for 25 seconds, but they believe they can win. Sable playing with some confidence there. Stanford with Lopolo running the point here.
And Tim, let's stick a pin in that play right there, because that could change the outcome of the game.
UC Davis took their first lead at 47-46. Ogden hits the three, and the Cardinal retake the lead after one possession. Offensive foul. Burns draws it on Ogden.
Yeah, Ogden was getting to a strong hand. This is the best game she's played in the first three so far. 12 points. A couple of big threes as well.
And Courtney Ogden, 12 points, one short of a career high. Stanford's had a bunch of players set new career highs early on in this year. Norris, spin move, lefty, bank shot's good for the South Bay native.
Nice job by Norris. Crab dribble, waited, was patient. They didn't come with a double team. Right over her right shoulder for the finish, left hand.
Well, we're tied at 49. Dimitri, fadeaway jumper, that is her shot.
And that's a beautiful shot by Dimitri. What she did, Tim, she received the basketball. She was patient, took her time, used a Dirk Nowitzki shot. Bucket.
Looked like my favorite player of all time, Dirk. Norris can shoot it as well as a big, and she knocks down a jumper. We're tied at 51.
Both teams starting to percolate now. Norris getting her sweet spot right at that mid-post area.
UC Davis has made 8 of their last 9 field goals, and you throw in 4 free throws they've made in that span as well.
Now they have their confidence. They feel they can win this game.
26-point third quarter for UC Davis after 21 points in the entire first half. Foul here against Harris, and Stanford will have 2 free throws.
So nice move right here. Grab, dribble, come right over right shoulder, and here the rocker step, shot right at the mid post, knocks it down. 4 consecutive back right here. Dimitri, I love this. Right here, took her time. There's a Nowitzki shot right over the rim. Tim knocks it down.
Courtney Ogden at the line, shooting.
My favorite player growing up, because you never saw, he revolutionized the game. You never saw 7-footers you could shoot. He was the first European MVP in the NBA. Ogden's first free throw is good. 13 points, that equals her career high. She had it at Gonzaga. Stanford got blown out at Gonzaga last year, and then blew out the Zags on Sunday when they unveiled Tara Vanderveer court here in Maples. 14 now for Courtney.
Courtney huge off of the bench, 14 points. It came out of nowhere, Tim.
His sophomore class, they call themselves the Trio. 17 from Agara and 14 for Ogden. Those are the 2 players for Stanford that are in double figures. Cardinal lead back up to 2. They've led by as many as 11. Sable with contact. Couldn't get it over the rim.
Nice defense by Stanford. A lot of contact down low. The officials let them play. Been consistent.
Agara got it. That's a career high 19 for Nunu.
Nice high-low offense. Agara did her work early. They would get settled inside. Dimitri with the pass right over the top. She was able to finish.
Agara picks up her 8th rebound.
Let's see what Stanford want to play, Tim. They want to get in transition, early offense.
One of the big strengths for Stanford this year is Nunu's playing the 4, and she's a player that can take a rebound and get up the court quickly. Deflected pass. Well, each of these teams, they can call out each other's offenses in their plays.
They know exactly what the actions are. In that situation there, they got their hands in the passing area, was able to get a deflection to the turnover.
Norris for the 3 to cut it to 1. It's off. UC Davis, keep in mind as Piscana goes to the hoop, lays it in with the foul. Big time bucket for Elena.
So Piscana, again, you have to honor her because she's able to shoot the ball from distance so she can put it on the floor as well. You can take a look here. She's able to get to the rim, take the contact, get to a strong hand, and finish.
Elena's got 7. I was going to say real quick, Stanford has played 3 blowouts, 3 games that were over in the 4th quarter. Remember, UC Davis, their last game went to overtime against San Diego State, so they do have some experience in a tight one. Piscana knocks down the free throw.
And this is what you want your team. You want to see how tough they are. You want to see how they can play in close quarters, so to speak.
Stanford has a game Sunday against Indiana, who was in the preseason top 25. Be on the road in Bloomington at the alma mater of Tara Vanderveer. Burns to the hoop. Great defense from Janiyah.
Janiyah did a great job of meeting her at the summit. Not able to finish. Burns again, what they're doing to him, they're putting her at the mid post and initiating offense with her.
Toscana looking to move that ball around. Isolate. Agara explodes to the hole, and she gets 2 free throws.
And that's the one thing that Agara can do this year. She's got confidence in the offense. She got it right at the mid post, get to a strong hand, came to a hard jump stop, and was able to go through, take the contact.
Dr. Wallace ran this Princeton offense. He calls out the sets, call out the series. I just saw Nunu on the left, everyone else to the right, and I knew that was an isolation play with the shot clock coming down.
That's a great observation, too.
I don't have a PhD or doctorate in coaching.
Well, you have
Dr. Wallace.
Right now,
pardon me.
Well, you're getting it right now in regards to the Princeton offense. You're going to know it inside and out at the end of the season.
Stanford switched to this offense with help from UC Davis back in 2017. Agara knocks down both free throws. She's up past 20 for her first time in her Stanford career. Nine-point lead for Stanford. They were trailing in the third quarter for 25 seconds. Bennett was going to the hoop, and a foul against Ogden. That's 4 on Courtney. Second team foul with 5:37 left in the fourth.
Stanford fans are not happy about that foul because, again, they're saying, listen, you allow some contact, but you're not allowing that contact. As Coach Pay has a look of anger as well, just kind of confusion.
Bennett, freshman from Long Beach, is stripped away by Harriel, who grew up in Sacramento, right close to Davis. Agara again just explodes to the rim and one. Nunu is taken over with 23.
And you can see that she can score from both sides of the rim. Then she rips through, uses her right hand, uses her strength. Weight room was able to take the contact and finish again. When in doubt, get it to Nunu.
One thing about this Stanford team, from day one, Coach Pate told me they're very unselfish. They love playing with each other, and we have seen more emotion and kind of some more personality from Stanford this year. It kind of started that first game against Lemoyne. We saw it. Talana Lopolo had a tie-up about 60 seconds into the year and immediately was yelling and screaming. And since that point, Stanford has played with so much activity as they turn over UC Davis.
This is what they want to do. They want to get out and transition. Now they can run their secondary offense.
This is the largest lead for Stanford at 12. They're on a 12-0 run. The quarter's 14-4 so far. They withstood a big punch from UC Davis. Harriel, 3, in and out. Dimitri, an offensive rebound. Stanford plus 16 on the boards.
Second chance opportunities. We talked about it earlier. 11-0. They went in that category.
And it's a 12-point game. That's the difference tonight. Toscana, 3 to beat the shot clock, in and out. Fitzgerald, a key rebound for Davis. Down by 12, 4:15 left.
Davis had to play pretty much perfect in these last 4 minutes, offensively as well as defensively, but they have to score quicker than that. They're going to call timeout. The importance of it here because they understand this is possibly the most critical possession of the half right here. There's Agara again going inside. She was able to finish. Stanford up by 12.
Who has carried the load for Stanford.
Yeah, she's pretty much answered the call. When in doubt, call Nunu because she's been outstanding, scoring at both sides of the rim, showing her athleticism. Again, she's added so many tools to her toolbox. It's been pretty much the Nunu Agara show here in the end of the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter. She's been money tonight.
She's got 7 already in the fourth. Agara, 24 points, a career high. She came in tonight leading Stanford in points and rebounds. She's doing that again. Stanford in assists and blocks as well. Epps, a big-time cut to the hoop. 63-53, 3:45 left.
I'll tell you what, Epps can get to the rim downhill with both of her hands.
Piscana got to the rim, was double teamed. Elena wants to get to the rim again, and Burns draws another charge.
So let's take a look at it here. Well, you can see her right arm extended just a tad, so that was a foul, the correct call on the floor.
You see Elena going to the bench, and I think Kate Pay agreed. She's talking to Elena, and can't use that offhand to barrel over a defender.
That's just the weight room, though, Tim. Just weight room, that's all it is.
What's a weight room?
Weight room, she's left curls going on.
Apollo's called for her second, and that's a 14 foul. So both teams are in the bonus from here on out. That could be important, a 10-point game.
In particular for the Aggies, because they want to score while the clock is not moving.
The clock is Stanford's friend. Harris, lefty layup in. She's got a career high with 17.
Harris was able to get down here. She took that screen, was able to turn the corner and finish.
Cardinal lead back down to single figures. When in doubt, get it to Nunu. And she couldn't get it to go. Good defense from Norris.
Point-blank shot, but again, they're focusing on Nunu Agara now because that's a matchup that they cannot handle on the floor.
Norris, three is off. That would have been huge. It's still a three-possession game.
Stanford here, most important is run your offense. Nunu is directing traffic. Ogden picks up a dribble. This is one area you can't trap, middle of the floor. This is a disjointed offensive set, but it's running the clock down. Stanford will need to score here.
Dimitri to beat the clock, just off the rim.
Stanford still in good shape here. If they get a stop, can't give up a three.
Sable takes a long three, it's off. Well, it was an empty possession, coach, but they still took 30 seconds off the clock.
Absolutely.
For the Stanford on their last possession, and if they take off 30 seconds every time, Davis doesn't have much of a chance.
Mention the clock is their friend. Try to run a two-man game with Agara because they have not been able to stop her.
Lopolo couldn't get the three. Ogden, backbreaker.
Ogden clean up on aisle two, was able to finish right over the rim. Continue to add to her career high.
13 zip in terms of second chance points, and that was the biggest concern for Coach Gross coming into this game. Timeout, UC Davis. 1:19 remaining in the game. It's a 10-point lead for Stanford.
30-second timeout called by Davis.
Let's take a look here. There's a shot. Ogden again clean up on aisle two. Continue with her career high. She's been big off the bench.
You know, Courtney Ogden, I think, had the biggest shot of this game so far. Stanford was trailing for the first time with 25 seconds left in the third quarter. It was 47-46, and then Courtney Ogden hit this three-pointer.
And at that point, you mentioned it was a 17-4 run, but as I mentioned earlier, stick a pin in that play because that changed the momentum. Davis had all the momentum. 5 seconds left. If you foul, it's just like a deflection. Take the ball out of bounds. Force Stanford to do something they don't want to do in that situation. But what they did not foul. Second opportunity to shoot the basketball. They rotated around the floor. Ogden right corner pocket was able to knock it down. And that was the turning point in the game.
And since that moment, Stanford has outscored UC Davis 19-8. Courtney Ogden is having her strongest game at Stanford. Was a number 10 overall recruit last year and has loads of talent out of the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. Harris misses it. Lopolo gets the rebound, and Stanford can take some time off the clock.
That's not the ideal possession in that situation.
That is the worst possible possession because Stanford turns it over, then commits a foul, and it's free throws here for Davis.
Yeah, absolutely. In that situation there, you always want to make sure you have at least 10 to 15 feet in regards to 12 to 15 feet in terms of spacing. They were really close to one another, so you basically have 4 players guarding one.
Two for Sable. Ooh, nice. You got 2. You want to miss the second if you're going to pick one to miss. What a great job Davis has done tonight. They've pushed Stanford to the limit. Haven't beaten the Cardinals since 1978.
They had a chance, again, up by 1, not taking that foul. Stanford took the momentum with the 3 ball and have not looked back since.
Dimitri, 3, backbreaker. Cardinal up by 12, and that puts this one on ice.
Stanford with their 5th 3 in the game, well below their season average, but they'll take it in a hard-fought victory.
And 5 for 20 for Stanford from deep. Dimitri with 11, Ogden 16, 8 for Elena Boscana, but 24 and 10, Nunu Agara, a monster night.
And she'll have an opportunity again to get to the free throw line.
Well, for Stanford, it is a season where it's a lot of things they aren't used to. The first time they haven't been preseason ranked since 1999. They were picked 7th in the ACC. And I guarantee you this, Stanford was never picked 7th in the Pac-12. First free throw was good for Agara. But a lot to prove for a lot of these players. The new head coach, of course, Kate Pay, has been around this program forever. Played here, assistant coach here, her brother went here. And there's a little bit maybe of a chip on the shoulder of Stanford this year, trying to prove people that they are still a top program.
Again, when you're in a situation, you have a lot of players, and you mentioned the 3 sophomores, the trio that they have a lot to prove as well because, again, pick number 7, Stanford's never been picked 7-4 in the preseason. A lot of new faces, a lot of new opportunities, and Stanford so far is answering the call for